If you're anywhere near the world of IT security, there's this one core concept you just have to know. And the best part? It's actually super easy to remember. It's called the CIA Triad. Okay, right off the bat, let's get one thing straight. No, we are not talking about spies or secret agents. In the world of information security, CIA stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. You know, some folks actually call it the AIC Triad just to avoid this exact confusion, but let's be real, CIA is way catchier. So, what is it really? The CIA Triad is basically the bedrock model for all information security policy. Just picture a triangle. Each point on that triangle represents one of the three essential goals of security. Everything we do to protect information is built on this foundation. So let's dive into that first pillar, confidentiality. When you boil it all down, this is about keeping secrets. Well, secret. It's all about preventing private information from falling into the wrong hands and making absolutely sure that only the right people can see it. So, how do we pull this off? Well, one of the biggest tools in the toolbox is encryption. This is where we scramble data into an unreadable code, and only the person with the right key can unlock it and see the original message. Then you've got access controls. Think of these as the digital bouncers at the club door. They're the rules that decide who gets to see what. And finally, there's authentication. This is all about proving you are who you say you are. If you've ever used two-factor authentication to log into something, that's exactly it. All three of these work together to keep our data confidential. To make that idea of access controls a bit more real, the source gives us a perfect example. You can set up rules so that your marketing team can get to all the marketing files they need. But at the very same time, you prevent all access to any of the accounting information of the organization. It's all about building digital walls exactly where you need them, making sure that data is only seen by the people who are supposed to see it. It's not just one thing, it's a whole layered defense. All right, let's move on to our second pillar, integrity. This one is all about making sure you can trust your data. It's that guarantee that the information you're looking at hasn't been messed with, changed, or corrupted along the way. You know, think about it this way. Without integrity, how can you be sure that the email you just got, or the file you downloaded, or even the transaction you see in your bank account is legit? Integrity is what makes data trustworthy. So how do we guarantee that? A really cool technique is called hashing. It creates a unique digital fingerprint of the data. If the fingerprint the sender created matches the one on your end, you know for a fact the data is unchanged. And we can even take that a step further with digital signatures. This is where we encrypt that hash, which proves not just what was sent, but more importantly, who sent it. And things like certificates act like a digital driver's license, verifying someone's identity to add that final critical layer of trust. And all of this leads to a really important concept called non-repudiation. This is the ultimate goal. It's undeniable cryptographic proof of integrity. It means the person who sent the message can't turn around later and say, "Nope, wasn't me," because you have the proof. There's just no doubt. Okay, let's hit our third and final pillar, availability. This one sounds pretty simple, but it is incredibly important. It's all about making sure that your systems, your services, and your data are actually online and accessible when you need to use them. So how do we keep the digital lights on? One of the key ways is through fault tolerance. This means designing systems with backup parts or redundant components. So if one hard drive dies, another one just takes over instantly. Zero downtime. And just as important is consistent patching. Yeah, I know, we all hate updates, but keeping software patched up doesn't just make it more stable. It closes security holes that an attacker could use to knock a system offline. It's all about proactive maintenance. So, we've got our three pillars: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. But here's the thing. You have to understand that they don't exist in separate bubbles. Real-world security is a constant balancing act between these three goals. And this table here just sums it all up beautifully. Confidentiality answers the question, who's allowed to see this? And we solve that with encryption. Integrity asks, has anyone messed with this? We verify that with hashing. And availability asks the simple question, can I get to it when I need it? We ensure that with redundancy. It's a really simple but powerful way to think about it. So what does this all mean when the rubber meets the road? Well, that brings us to our final thought. For instance, if you crank up the encryption to make something super confidential, does that slow the system down and hurt its availability? It really makes you wonder, can you ever truly max out all three parts of the triad at the same time? Or is information security always a game of trade-offs? That's the challenge security pros face every single day.